The United States is facing a nationwide flood emergency. In just the first 2 weeks of July 2025, devastating flash floods have struck Texas, North Carolina, and New Mexico, killing at least 142 people, leaving more than 160 missing, and causing damages that already exceed $22 billion. This is not an isolated storm. This is a series of deadly disasters hitting back-to-back across landscapes as different as Texas Hill Country, the Blue Ridge Mountains, and the deserts of the Southwest.
I mean, it's like a lake.
The worst destruction occurred in Texas. Between July 4th and 7, a stalled weather system dropped over 20 inches of rain across central Texas. The Guadalupe River rose over 20 feet in less than 45 minutes. In the dead of night, water came crashing through the valleys. No warning, no time to escape. Entire towns were inundated. Roads turned into rivers. Hundreds of homes were destroyed within hours. But the heart of the tragedy was Camp Mystic, a summer camp for girls located on the riverbank. As floodwaters surged toward the camp, local authorities failed to activate IPAWS, the Federal Emergency Alert System. Instead, they relied on Code Red, a private app that only reaches people who have pre-registered. Most families received no warning. 27 campers and staff died that night. Parents are still waiting outside the camp gates. Divers have been searching the river for over a week. Bodies have been found more than 30 miles downstream. Across Kerr and Kendall counties, the death toll continues to rise. As of July 14th, at least 132 people have died in the Texas floods. Over 160 remain missing. It is the deadliest inland flood in the United States since 1976. President Trump signed a federal disaster declaration on July 11th. FEMA and the National Guard have been deployed. More than 2,000 rescue personnel have been working nonstop, but rain continues to fall, delaying operations. Several towns remain isolated. Roads and bridges have collapsed. Drinking water systems are offline. Some communities are relying on helicopters just to receive basic supplies. And then North Carolina. On July 8th, powerful thunderstorms unleashed over 11 inches of rain in less than 24 hours across the state's western mountains.
Anybody out there? I had my dad on.
The Watauga and Catawba rivers overflowed within hours. In towns like Boone, Lenoir, and Morganton, families woke up to the sound of water pouring into their homes. Entire streets were submerged. Landslides cut off highways. 5 people were killed. Over 50 homes were completely destroyed. Hundreds more were damaged. Helicopters had to airlift food and medical aid into areas that couldn't be reached by road. The flood came fast and hard. Residents say there was almost no time to prepare. And with rivers still swollen and soil fully saturated, the risk of secondary landslides remains dangerously high.
There's people in it. Oh my God, there's so many people in it.
2 days later, floodwaters hit a third state, New Mexico. On July 10th, monsoon storms dumped nearly 5 inches of rain across the desert towns of Hatch, Las Cruces, and Deming. It was one of the most intense rain events on record for the region, more than some areas receive in an entire year. The dry ground couldn't absorb the water. Flash floods tore through mobile home parks, washed away cars, ripped out power poles, and collapsed bridges. One New Mexico State police officer died when his cruiser was swallowed by a flooded road. 4 other people were killed across Doña Ana County. More than 2,000 residents have been displaced. Hundreds of homes are uninhabitable. Several rural towns remain completely cut off, with no electricity, no communications, and no access by road. In all 3 states, officials say warning systems failed.
Get out of your car!
In Texas, at least 12 local flood alert systems were offline. In North Carolina, river gauges malfunctioned in 2 counties. In New Mexico, some towns had no sirens at all. These failures have added to the devastation. Meteorologists say the floods were caused by a rare combination of extreme atmospheric moisture and slow-moving storm systems, amplified by warming ocean temperatures and a record-hot Gulf of Mexico. Climate experts warn that this kind of flooding is no longer once in a lifetime. It's becoming part of a new normal. Many communities, especially rural and low-income areas, are not equipped to handle these events. Yet amid the destruction, there have been stories of incredible bravery. In Texas, a retired Marine saved 8 children by tying them to himself with a rope and swimming across the floodwaters. In North Carolina, a group of firefighters formed a human chain to rescue a woman from a collapsing bridge. In New Mexico, neighbors used kayaks to evacuate an entire nursing home before it flooded. Across all 3 states, emergency shelters have opened in schools, churches, and gymnasiums. Volunteers are handing out food, blankets, and bottled water. Thousands are still without power. Hundreds of roads remain closed. And in many places, the rain hasn't stopped. This is not just a southern crisis. This is a national emergency. 3 states, dozens of counties, hundreds of communities underwater. And still no clear end in sight. July 2025 will be remembered not just for what happened, but for how unprepared we were. Not for a hurricane, not for a tsunami. But for rain. Rain that wouldn't stop.